Welcome to the Daily Word Verse by Verse. Grab your Bibles and follow along as we study the book of Revelations. Keep in mind I'm using the Holman Christian Standard Bible, so if you're using a different translation, the read is different, but the message is the same. All right, we're going to move into the third section. Remember, Revelations was divided into three parts. The first part was John was instructed to write the things which he had saw. And one of the first things, of course, is revealed, being the title, Revelation, is the conquering Lord. So this is a revelation of the works of Jesus, the actions of the soon coming and glorious King. The second section was the message that Jesus gave. And that's important too. Remember, Jesus gave this message to his 7 churches. And then the third section, as we now move into, are the things that are going to be hereafter. What's going to happen in the future. And I want to take just a moment to recap so that we can understand. Remember the prophetic timeline that Daniel had set forth. 2 things that came from Daniel. Remember the image that Nebuchadnezzar saw in his dreams. And as I said before, the entire book of Daniel is really the interpretation of that image that Nebuchadnezzar saw. And it is the image of or prophetic picture of the world dominating kingdoms until the end of the age, when Jesus will eradicate human government and control from the earth. And so the 70-week prophecy in chapter 9 was a prophetic timeline that kind of gives us the events as they will unfold prophetically. The problem is, as we said, we came to week 69, and that prophetic clock or timeline stopped or paused. Jesus came, he was lifted up. Well, what was left was that 70th week. And what we found was the age of the church, the mystery of the church was slipped into that age. And we have been on pause in respect to that prophetic timeline for the last 2,000 years. Now, we don't know when the church age is going to end. But we know that when it ends, it's going to commence that 7-year tribulation period. Now, this is where we are now. So we're between week 69 and week 70, this last 7-year period. Now, as we move in, chapter 6 through 18 is that 7-year tribulation period. And there's 2 aspects that John is telling. We're going to see first that God is going to begin to unleash judgments on the earth. First, there's going to be the seals judgment, and then that will spill over into the trumpet judgment, and then that will spill over into the bowl judgment. Okay, each judgment will increasingly be more severe than the other set. Then what we're also going to do is, in a parenthetical way, we're going to look at the Antichrist, or the man of sin, in his rule. So as he is ruling and the wickedness of his of his kingdom, he's also being plagued, because God is never going to let this man get exactly what he wants. So while he is ruling, he is also being plagued, the wickedness of man. It should be noted, and that's why I spent the last several videos in talking about this prophetic timeline, but also in particularly what the atmosphere will be during this time. And it will be of an immense wickedness, a hardness of the heart like we have never seen. And again, this is what God is judging. And oftentimes, and I even sad to say that Christians do the most misrepresentation of what the tribulation period is going to be, because if you look at Christian films and sometimes Christian novels and stories, the sinners are the innocent people. They just kind of sitting around like, I don't know what's going on here. I don't know why why are these bad things happen to poor innocent us? Here's Susie Homemaker, and all of a sudden now, these judgments are happening, and these innocent people. That's a total misrepresentation. Jesus said that just as in the days of Noah, so will be the time of the coming of the Son of Man. So we're going to see that as God is unleashing these judgments, it is the hardness of the sinful nature of man, the acts. And we're going to see how they respond, not in humility, but in hardness of heart. All right, chapter 6, verse 1. It says, Then I saw the Lamb open one of the 7 seals. Now notice, it is the Lamb who is opening the seals. So it's going to be the Lamb that is going to be administering these judgments. So the Lamb opened one of the 7 seals, and I heard one of the 4 living creatures say with a loud voice like thunder, Come. I looked, and there was a white horse, and the horseman had on it a bow, and a crown was given to him, and he went out as a victor to conquer. Now, there are some who see this as the man of sin, the beast, beginning his 7-year reign, dominance in the earth. Okay. All right. Verse 3. Now, I'll say this. The reason why he says this is that notice he said he was, and a crown was given him, and he went out to conquer. He went out as a victor to conquer. One of the things, we didn't study. We didn't study the entire book of Daniel. But one of the things that Daniel brings out is that the man of sin will be a military genius, as well as an incredible Gnosticist, I should say. All right, verse 3. And he opened the 2nd seal, and I heard the 2nd living creature say, Come. And another horse went out, and a fiery red one, and his horseman was empowered to take peace from the earth, so that people would slaughter one another, and the Lord's sword was given to it. So, we see now war breaking out. Now, remember, Jesus had said that when you begin to see wars and rumors of wars, these are the beginning of pains. This 7-year period is moving past that. And one of the things I would say is that in order to really fully realize the events that happened during this 7-year period, you're going to have to be in that 7-year period. In other words, we can't describe it because it's going to be total wickedness, total wickedness of heart. So we can't even imagine that. Okay. So, so this is going to be different. Living here is going to be completely different, unlike that we have never known. And I don't even know if we can imagine it. Just how wicked and evil it's going to be. And then remember, God, this is what God is judging. Verse 5, when he opened the 3rd seal, I heard a 3rd living creature say, Come. And he looked, and there was a black horse, and the horseman on it had a set of scales in his hands. Then I heard something like a voice among the 4 living creatures say, a quart of wheat for a denarius, and 3/4 of barley for a denarius, but do not harm the olive oil and the wine. Now this points to crazy economical collapse, recessions, depressions, whatever you want to call. It would be like today if you can imagine, I know there's certain places where gas is $5 a gallon. Well, imagine gas being $25 a gallon. A loaf of bread, $15 a loaf. Milk, $20 for a gallon of milk. That's how bad things are going to be during this time. All right, we will pick it up in verse 7 in the next video. So I'll see you then.